Proceedings of this meeting will be recorded and made available on the internet. So we can move on to item 1.2 of our agenda, which is roll call. And I ask our clerk, Jesse Clark, to please call the roll.
Thank you. Mayor Lamstead, are you present?
I am present.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong?
Present.
Councillor Franzen?
Present.
Councillor Braybrook?
Present.
Councillor Cadigan?
Present.
For staff, we have Donna Taggart, CIO Treasurer. Present. Dylan Kosh, Director of Recreation Facilities.
Present.
Eric Gay, Director of Building and Planning, CBO.
Present.
Adele Arbor, Planner.
Present.
Bianca Dragicevic, Deputy Clerk. Present. Chastity Robertson, Deputy Treasurer.
Present.
And Jesse Clark, Director of Corporate Services, Clerk, is present.
Okay, thank you very much, Jesse. We can move on now to item 1.3 of our agenda, which is land acknowledgement and moment of reflection. We respectfully acknowledge that Trent Lakes and Peterborough County are located in the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nation, which include Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nation. Trent Lakes respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaty First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We will now take a moment to reflect on these principles and our duties and responsibilities as members of council. Thank you, everyone. We can move on now to item 2 of our agenda, which is the approval of the agenda as circulated. I would entertain a motion for the same. Councillor Franzen for a mover, Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any conversation about the agenda? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can move on to item 3 of our agenda, which is the disclosure of pecuniary interest. If any member of council has a pecuniary interest on the agenda, please disclose it now or anytime during the meeting prior to discussing anything on the item you have an interest in. I see Councillor Franzen. Go ahead.
Yeah, 13.2 correspondence, Ted Oak, dealing with the water system.
Okay. When we get to that item, we will make sure you exit the room. Thank you very much, Councillor Franzen. Okay, we can move on now. Any other pecuniary interests? Seeing none, we can move on to item 4 of our agenda, which is the adoption of the minutes. Item 4.1 is our regular council meeting of October 7th, 2025. Councillor Cadigan for a mover, Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. Any conversation about the minutes? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can move on to item 5 of our agenda, which is committees and boards. Item 5.1 is the library board. 5.2 is the committee of adjustment. If anyone would like to speak to either of those items, or we can have a motion to receive them both the same. Entirely up to council.
Motion to receive both.
Okay. Do I have any seconders for that motion? Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Sorry. Any further conversation about either item? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We can move on to item 5.3 of our agenda, which is liaison reports for council boards and committees. Does anyone have anything to discuss about a liaison report? Seeing none, we can move on to item 6 of our agenda, which is statutory public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act, which we have none. Item 7 is business arising out of that statutory public meeting that we didn't have. We have none. Item 8 is presentations, and item 8.1 is Margaret Wheatman and Robin Vasek and from the Buckhorn District Tourist Association. Would you please come to the podium and do your presentation? Thank you for joining us. I guess it's not a podium, it's a table.
Which makes it easier.
Yes.
Actually, I dropped it. Max Miller is joining us as well from the board.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Mac.
She's here for my moral support.
Well, take your time. Enjoy the time you have in front of council.
Well, I haven't done this before to present like this, and I thank Carol for suggesting this at our Buckhorn District Tourist Association meeting, which is great to be out here and just kind of see what happens and see everybody's faces. Some faces I know, some I do not know, but right here, right now I do. So there you go. I might have to take a few mental snapshots. So good afternoon, Trent Lakes Council. Thank you for inviting us here today to present what the Buckhorn District Tourist Association and Welcome Center does for our community and surrounding area. My name is Margaret Weichman, and I'm the president of the Buckhorn District Tourist Association for the past 7 years and was secretary for 4 years prior to that. I would like to introduce our board members. Some are here, some couldn't be present today because of the timing, of course. So we have Robin Bizak here, our finance lady. We have Max Miller here today. She's our director of membership. We also have Serena Edmonds, who is secretary, Linda Dill, who is director manager of our Welcome Center, Jennifer Doyle, director of newsletter, and Marilyn Hines, she always corrects me, director of social media. So our liaisons that attend our meetings and we are grateful for is Carol Armstrong here representing you guys as Trent Lakes and Peterborough and Kawartha Chamber. And Peter Raymond from the Buckhorn Community Center that reports in on what's happening in Buckhorn. As we know, the Welcome Center is pretty much the heart and soul there. Our liaisons come out to our meeting each month and present reports as to what is happening with our organizations, as well as help out with input on our board and different matters that is being tabled at the meeting. And for us, that is great because it has a different perspective coming in, and sometimes it makes us sit there and rethink. So we're grateful for that. Thank you, Carol, for attending our meetings and letting us know what's happening here at Trent Lakes as well. Our welcome staff at the center is Linda Dill, which is also our manager. She's been there forever. I'm sure probably all of you know who Linda Dill is. We have Marilyn Hines, which is, she works at the Welcome Center. She's been involved with the snowmobile trail and so many different things. We are very lucky to have her as well. Cooper Armstrong, who's a local young man going through his university and college. He's been our student there working with us for the past 3 years and does a fantastic job and just loves his community. So we're grateful to have him. Let me take you a minute to, or take the opportunity to tell you about our Welcome Center and all of our amazing staff there. And I'm not sure if you are aware, but we are actually the most visited Welcome Center in all of Ontario, which is pretty tremendous. Having a liquor store next door, I'll just throw that in there, kind of helps because we sell the ice. So that's a little secret that other Welcome Centers don't have. So, if you're looking for ice for your drinks, come see us. We'll give you a map and tell you where to go. Linda Dill, our manager, she has been with us for the past 13 years. The lady goes out and above the call of duty of anybody who knows her. Linda looks after everything that the Welcome Center needs, such as scheduling the staff, looking after contractors for maintenance and repairs, ordering of products when needed, and so much more. Linda's absolutely amazing, and seriously, we wouldn't be able to have that center without her. Next, we have Marilyn Hines. She's a part-time staff. Marilyn does an amazing job. When the tourists come in the door, everyone is greeted with a smile and tended to in a professional and friendly manner. Marilyn also keeps our social media going and is great at sharing not only all the local events, but important travel events such as road closures, bad weather, and etc. This is such an important job as our Facebook page alone has more than 2,000 followers. Our summer student, Cooper Armstrong, has been with us for the 3rd summer, as previously mentioned. His previous knowledge of the center and the tourist area worked out very well, and he was liked by all. He is a local young man, born and raised, graduated from Fleming College for computer security, investigations, accounting, and continually pursuing his career path, and we wish him the best of luck. Cooper will continue at our Welcome Center for this fall as well. This year at our Welcome Center, we had a total of 8,250 visitors come through the door. Lots of new first-time visitors, and of course, our regular visitors that come year after year and feel like we're all friends. They feel part of the community, actually. If you stand into the Welcome Center for a little bit and just sit in a corner, you would be quite shocked at what people say when they come through the door about our community around here. Not just Buckhorn, the surrounding community, they feel so welcomed, and we're very lucky to have that vibe in our area. Visitors are impressed with the amount of literature that our Welcome Center has on display and find it very helpful with their stay in our area. Over the years, our staff has built a binder of facts to be able to respond to questions such as where to stay, play, eat, or just general directions. The Welcome Center is their first stop on their destination into Buckhorn. We have friendly, knowledgeable staff that are ready to assist them with their needs during their stay. We are open 7 days a week in the summer months and part-time throughout the winter. So we do service all year round. We don't close for any of the months. Our remarkable gardens out front at the Welcome Center are accomplished this year by a number of great people in our community. Together, they have been maintained beautifully, which is admired by our local tourists who share their pictures on social media. This year, we have had a new addition to our Welcome Center garden, a standing bear created by Woodchuck Charlie. We ran a contest for the locals and tourists to have an opportunity to name our bear, and the winning name was Uncle Buck. I think that had a lot to do with, our local Canadian that we lost and passed away, John Candy. So I think that was a little bit of the reasoning for the choice there. Here are some of the items that the BDTA has contributed and donated to our community. So we're all about being involved with our community and giving back and helping as well. So we are not just a welcome center. We give back to the Buckhorn Community Festival of Trees, the Buckhorn Community Canada Day, Buckhorn Community Golf Tournament, Blizzard Fest, Buckhorn Community Care, Buckhorn Public School, the Buckhorn Library, Buckhorn Pickleball, and the Bobcaygeon Chamber of Commerce AGM. The BTA board assembled a Christmas float and participated in the Lions Club Buckhorn Santa Claus Parade for the past few years, and we're doing that again this year. And I think that pretty much sums us up, even though it's a lot more work than what's on these few pages. So I would like at this moment, on behalf of the BDTA, say that we feel blessed to have the building that we have. And Trent Lakes Municipality for the amazing opportunity of being able to offer our beautiful town of Buckhorn such an amazing welcome center to be enjoyed by all. And we say it almost every meeting. I also sit on the Bobcaygeon Chamber, and we are so fortunate in Buckhorn to have what we have, and we wouldn't have it without you guys. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margaret, for your presentation. Does anyone on council have any comments or questions for Margaret? Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Lamson. I don't want to put you on the spot, Margaret, but
We'll talk
could you
about
just
this.
share- I should have thought so. Can you tell us a little bit about how many visitors you have during the year and how many members, business members? you
Yeah, so
have?
we covered the visitors throughout the presentation here. So
Over 8,000 in the past 12 months.
let me go back to where that was
8250.
Yeah.
in here. And
And then the members, there's currently 82 members. We are in the process of the membership renewals. Unfortunately, the mail strike put a little bit of a kibosh into actually getting people re-registered, but we know that those checks are in the mail. We've reached out to everybody we haven't heard from. Unfortunately, this past year, we lost 4 members due to their businesses or they were moving, but we're in the process of going out and getting more new ones. But currently, we're sitting at 82 members.
yeah, and with that, Carol, as I think you're aware, so we have, I'm sure you guys have seen circulating stuff, the Buckhorn Explorer magazine, which Max does for us here. And through there, we offer the advertisements and we put all of our local members in here. So everybody, and this is distributed everywhere, so people can have our members and support our locals to keep our locals in business here. We also developed like a trifold that we mail out that goes into everybody's home. So if you need a plumber, if you need a mechanic, if you need a place to stay, this goes out to everybody. It gets mailed out to everybody. We put it at businesses if people want to take it. When people come into our welcome center, they leave with one of these. So, you know, with our center there, we're able to promote all of our local businesses that want to be a part of us. And we're working hard to try to make that even more and offer more things to these people as we grow. And we have been a growing welcome center. And Yeah, we're privileged. Thank you for your, that wasn't too hard, Carol. Thank you.
Wait, you might have more.
Oh, careful now, careful.
Anyone else have any comments or questions? Councillor Cadigan, go ahead.
A comment, if I may, through you, Mayor. I was recently in your parking lot and had obviously new visitors to the area, and they got out of the car to go to the liquor store, and they looked over at the building and said, "What's that building? That looks interesting. We should go in there." I thought, yeah, because it's in a good location.
Yeah.
They would have ended up there for their ice.
True.
And that is so true. That's a great comment. We are so lucky and blessed because of the location. Like, it is the perfect location for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful building. We get so many compliments on the building. Mhm. Anybody else?
Yeah, Councillor Franzen, go ahead.
Yeah, a very nice presentation, Margaret.
Thank you.
I was just curious, are those flyers distributed through the Bob Cajun post office as
Yes,
well?
they get mailed out as well. So anybody, it's considered a flyer. So
Okay.
if you have your mail delivery that you do not want flyers, you will not receive
Okay.
it because the mail recognizes it as a flyer.
Okay,
Yeah, but it does go mailed out every year.
okay, great.
And as far as the Explore Tourism Guides, they're distributed throughout Southern Ontario. 15,000 of them. They go from London, from the Tourism Ontario kiosk, London, Niagara Falls, Barrie, Muskoka, all the way out to Banesville and in the Infotech stand. So they're bringing in the tourists to our area as well.
Thank you. Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I just want to make a quick comment and just thank you and your staff for your passion and dedication to building this. It's fantastic, and I'm in there. I think I've bought probably about 6 or 7 hoodies from you. So, but no, it is fantastic, and I think you're the perfect personality to captain the team. So
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank you very
appreciate it.
much.
So you were the one that's taken my double extra large red.
We got more in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, it truly is a welcome center because I do stop there periodically and everybody wants to talk to you, welcomes you. The next person comes in the door, they talk to you. So it is truly a welcome center for all of Trent Lakes. And I think it's an important part of our community. Thank you very much for your presentation. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I do want to thank Margaret and the team for coming forward. I did ask them if they would share some of this, just because I think it's important we get refreshed on what they do contribute to our community. One comment I wanted to make, back when we had the Economic Development Advisory Committee, we did I forget what they call it, but a comparison with a sister community, which was, I forget. No, let's go.
Charlotte Lake.
Thank you. I knew it started with an S, Charlotte Lake. And in their report, one of the things that they highlighted was the amazing welcome they got from Linda Dill and what a treasure she was and how lucky we were to have her greeting residents. So I thought it was interesting that they pointed that out about everything else that they saw in our community that they thought was a real asset. So thank you, Margaret and Jean, for bearing that.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much. Thank you kindly for your presentation.
Thank you.
And be prepared to make a motion to receive that presentation. Councillor Franzen for a mover. I think it's only fitting that Deputy Mayor Armstrong is our seconder. Any further conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. And I think, Margaret, you and your group have another meeting to attend to, so
Yeah, I have my AGM for the Bob Cajun Chamber now this afternoon, so I got to go set up for that.
well, thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you very much for all the stuff you do in Buckhorn.
Thank
And
you
all
very
Trent
much.
Lakes.
Have a great meeting and a great day. Thank you.
Okay.
Lovely to meet you all.
Okay, now we can move on to item 8.2 of our agenda, which is Alex Feenstra. Would you like to, I guess you're online, I believe. I think you can unmute yourself and start right into your presentation, please.
All right. So I'm not Alex, I'm actually Sean, but I can see in my my title there, it says Alex Feenstra. Alex is next to me on my screen anyways, so Alex is joining me. Good
Hello.
afternoon, Trent Lakes Council. Hopefully you all hear me and it's clear and all this. I'm the team lead, Sean Kelly from Plural, and we are here working on the signage strategy. We got a draft final report for council today. Happy to be in the municipality of Trent Lakes. And I would be pleased to say, just maybe a little fun fact, that one of our actually phase recommendations is to direct people to the Buckhorn Welcome Center. So just hearing the previous presentation, we're knowing perhaps we're all on the right track here, and really enjoyed Margaret's presentation. So we're going to go through a slide deck here, at which time I can answer, or Alex, if she needs to come on, can answer questions at the end of it. I'll pace it pretty quickly and keep this pretty high level. Hopefully you've received this and have had a review prior to get going, and enjoy.
Okay,
Next
thank you. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, the team obviously isn't just us. Obviously we have many people in our office that works on it, and I'd really like to have a thanks to Stacia, who would typically do this for you. She's taken away today, but Alex, Bethany, Tatiana, and Tori in our office were all on play in this one. And then Dylan Kosh, Director of Recreation Facilities, and obviously the participants of the Trent Lakes community. We spoke to many of them and saw many of them, heard from them. So all together, I'll call that the team. Next slide. So what we're actually design planners. We're trained as landscape architects, graphic artists. We're planners. We've been doing this for many years. We certainly are up in your area and gravitate all around your area right now. Wayfinding is one of those things we do, and we feel we do really well. There's this snippet of a few projects that we've been working on recently up in Red Rock, up by Thunder Bay, Warwick, out here in southwestern Ontario, and Hanover, the town of Hanover as well. But we offer services to regions and municipalities, BIAs, communities, service focus groups, and we certainly get around. What remains consistent in what we do, we cater exclusively to rural communities. It's kind of what we like to hang our hat on and say this is what we offer and how we offer it. Next slide, please. So this was a three-phase process for us. Not unlike many projects out there, you have a review analysis phase where you look at the background research if there's anything that's actually happened. We would always come up to our sites. We did that. We came up to Trent Lakes area and look around. We look at digital integration trends, because that's a big thing right now in signage programs. And obviously we talked to folks, the interest holders, anyone that had interest in your project and that was assigned to us to have a chat to. We certainly made the effort to get out and talk to them. We started that back in July. We're now in October. We've moved through the design development strategy, our second phase. It created some recommendations in the strategy for the project. We have conceptual design development. We did a public engagement survey, and then we provided a visual signage toolkit also for the municipality. We moved into phase 3, which really takes where we are now, trying to get the whole strategy implemented. But to do that, you need some information. We provide that as a material and fabrication standard. We look at sign locations. We provide some high-level budget estimating, also recognizing that sometimes projects don't happen right away, and you're doing your best guess on what it might be like. But the current day pricing, it could be a little more, could be a little less in the future. So we call it high level. And obviously the installation and maintenance guidelines that go with the signage program that's portrayed in the strategy. Next slide. So we had 2 comprehensive documents produced. You may have seen them. First one was our research and analysis, about 33-page document. It ends up being about section 1. We call it research and analysis. Looks at all that stuff we collected at the forefront to try to get a really good understanding so we can actually serve the needs of the municipality, Trent Lakes. The second part is the signage strategy. That's the real meat of it. Over 80 pages, three more sections to be that were added to it that include the design, development, and strategy, the visual signage toolkit, and the implementation plan. Next slide. So here's what we did. Research and analysis. I've kind of read through this really quickly before, but again, collecting everything, creating a bit of a foundations document for ourselves. What that does is allow us to get out to the community, do some engagement, and from there it informs the development of the strategy. So, what are the classifications of the signage types, the strategy recommendations that are needed up in Trent Lakes, and tourism signage. How do we deal with NTO jurisdictions, which is always happening when we're in this part of the world, regulatory signage, and then trail signage itself. The signage toolkit has sign content. It establishes some sign standards. It shows concept mock-ups, and that's the stuff everyone really gets excited to see. What will the signs actually look like? And then we provide templates that can be worked on. Implementation, again, what are those material recommendations that would work well up in the municipality? Where these locations for the signs would be. I talked a bit about budget already, but how to phase it as a recommendation, and then just some information on installation and maintenance. Next slide, please. There was a lot of stuff we review. Typically, the regulatory documents, regardless of where we're working, would be kind of OTM books, Ontario Traffic Manuals, 8 and 1B seem to be the ones that are really relevant to most things. But also we have to look at sign permits and municipal bylaw information. So we did that for Trent Lakes as well. Then we looked at the strategic planning that's happening up in your municipality. You have a streetscape and green space master plan. We always look at economic development strategic plans, and that will include tourism recovery in this sense. You had a Trent Lakes facilities master plan, the multi-year accessibility plan, obviously parks, recreation, and culture master plans, and then the open space master plan. A lot of plans for us to go through as strategic plans to take information from. Other documents came to the forefront, included external communication strategy, and then the communications review report. And obviously municipal brand guidelines are always a big piece of the signage program. Next slide. So back in July 24th, we're up in your area. It wasn't me personally, but I can tell you Alex, who's on the screen, was up there with others in the office. They traveled 20 kilometers, I think over 20 kilometers of roadway within Trent Lakes. They visited over 10 key destinations that would be, in categories of park and beaches or boat launches, tourist attractions, and then the municipal and private facilities and assets that were identified. Next slide. So we saw a bunch of things, and we look at this, and when we always come into these programs, what we're looking for is that, the kind of here and there pieces, what's that threshold? Where do we enter? Where's that gateway? Where, we mark gateways for different reasons, but where do you feel like you're really in a gateway? A few identification type of things. How well are parks and recreation assets identified? Are there other assets that need to be identified? We always look at the directional signage, how to get somewhere. Is that information out there? Are there kiosks that kind of got one-stop shop for information in your communities? And then obviously the regulatory signage, we went to the boat launch, looked at that as well. And then any temporary signage that you may have. Obviously there's anywhere there's improvement, opportunities for improvement in signage unity, consistency, accessibility, and certainly destination promotion and placement. You wouldn't have a project if you didn't see this yourself. So you know this, you have that project. We're just confirming a lot of those things ourselves, and it helps to build our foundation for the project. Next slide, please. So we had a two-part process for engagement, community engagement. One of them is a survey, the other one are the interviews. I'll start with the interviews here on the left side of the screen. There was 9 interest holders that came to us that we were told that we should be speaking to. Those interviews were conducted throughout July and August. And this would inform conceptual signage design and overall strategy development. We heard from council members, many of you here today, municipal staff, community hall directors, and obviously a member of the Buckhorn District Tourist Association. The public engagement was an online survey which was open for about a part of a week in September, starting on the 4th, and 2 weeks for the community to provide feedback on 2 conceptual designs. So we had 2 very different conceptual designs. We wanted input on that and allow folks from the community to tell us what they thought. We had 152 responses, which we feel is pretty decent for the municipality and the size of municipality we're dealing with. Next slide, please. So to get into things that kind of, designers like to do is kind of look at an area and kind of read that landscape, read the assets, read the community. Our first concept was based on locks and lakes. We mock these up, we pull in colors that seem to make sense for us. We obviously have a brand that we're dealing with, and how do we portray this? So there's some community identity that's happening, and there's some silhouettes that were used on there. There's 5 being shown right there. One for Bob Cajun, Willie Falls, got the Colma, Kinmount, and Lakehurst. And as you can see, as these get employed into gateway signs or directional, these are at the bottom, urban directional, rural directional signs, and even an information kiosk, you can still have community identifiers that are associated to the community, but the overall look of that would be consistent enough that certainly the municipality of Trent Lakes would be well represented. We found this one to be pretty exciting for us. We like the silhouette piece. So that gives you an idea that if we could have a community identifier, use the coloring that we have a locks and lakes concept. That's been the first one. Next slide, please. Beginning the concept 2, which is about leisurely living. So the color scheme, evergreen shade, sage green, you think of the things that would happen that are leisurely, that are tranquil, it's natural, relaxed, and friendly. So there's some aesthetic theming with this one. And as you can see, we're building off the last scheme with these community identifiers. However, we've brought in a much more, a bit more of a natural, maybe rustic feel, certainly with the standards that are happening here down below on the municipal gateway and community gateway using timber. We have some recreational ID, and I just note that at the bottom of that recreational ID, those white boxes could be lug optics or the icons you use for different activities. Urban directional signs are these types of things that when you're in an urban area, that they're catering and scaled more to a pedestrian to find their way around. And then obviously the informational kiosks and where they may be. These are the information posts. So those are 2 concepts. Next slide, please. So design development strategy. So we had 26 pages of content that deals with classification and signage types, strategy recommendations to tourism signage, the MTO jurisdiction, and obviously regulatory and trail signage. It's a info packed section, has a lot of information, provides a lot of rationale for why we do certain things the way we do. Really important piece to have, but it speaks to our design development and the subsequent strategy. Next slide, please. So the recommended family of signs to fill the municipal needs and gaps. We have 13 sign types. And as I alluded to before, certainly in the concepts at the bottom, having identification signage that might be gateways or identification of one of your facilities, a municipal facility, parks and recreation site, or any other municipal amenity. Identification of these, and this is a way of really providing some consistency, some pride in ownership, those sort of things. Being able to navigate, directional, understanding where you are, and being able to move throughout a landscape. And this is really what, a lot of wayfinding does. How do we get some community directional, some local directional, and then high speed directional? And then the boat launch was part of this, and we were told to bring that in as well. Information kiosk, these are the types of things you might find at a trailhead. Maybe sometimes you'll even find them in a downtown port, depending on the type of information you want to include on the kiosk. And then there's interpretive signage opportunities, where you might have educational panels or interpretation panels about a key site, a key view, a key building, anything like that. And it's a quick call out to what's happening on the place and space that we're looking at. So that's the recommended family of signs. Next slide, please. The developed concept. So this is Lakes and Leisure. We pulled this further. What we got out of our chats with individuals and certainly our survey ended up being a bit of a hybrid. So this is the concept, the developed concept that emanated from the 2 previous concepts that were worked up to get some discussion going. So it's developed as a result of public survey data, feedback, and direction from staff. So as you can see here, there's a number of different signs, and those codes below them, you can probably allude to what they mean. Anything with a G is a gateway, anything with a D is directional. There's a trailhead down there, and there's the info kiosk as well. But there's the family that would probably serve the municipality really well. You can see the larger ones tend to look like they have steel supports holding them up. We have a nice arch top. We're still using the silhouette piece, but it's pretty bold. It uses your colors very well. These are scaled accordingly, and if you can see the shadowing in behind, you can see some scale representation with vehicles and people and benches and cyclists and those sort of things. So they tend to be pretty robust and grand. We do this because that's what you need. Some of these major gateway signs, for instance, are catering to folks in vehicles probably traveling at 80 kilometers an hour. To be able to read, there's a whole standardization that goes with this, and font size requirement, and to have the accessibility bits, very important. So as you work your way down, you can definitely see the font size is diminishing and getting smaller, because the user type of that sign, the reader of that sign would actually be a little more proximal to the sign at the time. So, you know, we understand speed, distance, and then how close you are to the signs. Next slide, please. The municipal gateway, so there you go. We've kind of modeled it up, threw it up in one of your landscapes, and this is kind of what it would look like. It would be very fresh, it'd be very apparent, and I think anyone coming into your community would know that, oh, okay, so I have arrived, and that's the whole point. You know, at what point do you know that you're into something? And this is the type of impact that we would hope to achieve, certainly with a municipal gateway sign. Next slide. So the visual signage toolkit, so there over 20 pages of information that deals with sign content, graphic standards, some signage concept mock-ups, and then the editable templates, things that we can work with. So lots of information again here. Next slide. Implementation plan, again, another 20 pages or so of material that would talk about the material recommendations for the signs, where they go, the budget that's required for what we're seeing right now, the phasing recommendations, and the installation and maintenance for each of these signs. And you can see down in the pages below, quickly, I just want to really point out there's a coded map on the signage location, tells you what type of sign goes where, which is really helpful. Thank you. Next slide. So, you know, we unit price our costing at a high level, and you might go, wow, these are signs. These are based on average industry standards. And I can tell you, I just came off another meeting. Their gateway sign is between $35,000 and $40,000. So it really tells you, you know, the kind of breadth that you can have on the types of signs. So when you get to a municipal gateway, they get very large here. So what we do consider of our budget estimating, obviously the material options and variations, the need for shop drawings. Some of these signs will actually have wind load necessity, which means you probably need a stamped or sealed shop drawing from an engineer, graphic proofs on what the sign could look like, anything with traffic control, delivery, and installation. And traffic control has to do with the installation if it's needed at that time. So, and some efficiencies and cost savings may be found with in-house installations. We work with many municipalities that have their own folks do it, public works per se, if they have capacity for that. Not happening everywhere, but does happen in many places. And again, these are average industry standards. And as you go down there, you can see the prices do range substantially, largely by size of sign. And so that goes back to what I was talking about. We have very big ones at municipal gateways, and then the quick call out pedestrian level signs were much smaller. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to summarize. There's lots of information here. We went out, we looked at a lot of things. We assessed existing signage and conditions. We talked to everyone we could talk to, the municipal staff, council, the interest holders. We heard from the community through surveys. We developed your sign type strategies and recommendations. We identified steps to guide implementation. We prepared the phasing and high level budget estimates. And provided 2 different documents that capture everything that we feel that would serve Municipality Trent Lakes really well. Next slide. And that's really the presentation on what's in the documents. We'd like to thank you, and certainly we love getting up your way. Again, I'm not on this list. My name is Sean. I'm willing to take council questions or questions from anyone that need be through the mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean, for your presentation. I have a question or two from Councillor Franzen.
Yeah, I have 3 comments, and maybe you could comment after I've made my comment. First of all, about the 20 kilometers site visit. Our municipality is very large and diverse. The largest 2-tier municipality in Southern Ontario. This municipality includes residential areas, large seasonal population, and agricultural area. The topography is very much different from the Harvey ward to the Galway Cavendish ward, which makes it challenging for signage. On the logo, I feel that all signage should have the complete township logo. I was upset that your presentation had altered our logo. Example of signage in your presentation should have been more reflective of our diverse municipality and included pictures from all areas. Some found that divisive, not inclusive. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Franzen. I don't know if you have any comments towards that, Sean, or not?
Through you, the mayor, the one comment I'd have certainly on the size, we understand and appreciate certainly the size of the municipality. The 20 kilometers only reflect the trails. So we've been on 20 kilometers of trails, but we had been through the whole municipality, and hopefully that satisfies that comment.
Okay, thank you. I know myself personally, I've drove 300 kilometers and never left Trent Lakes. I think Deputy Mayor Armstrong has questions as well. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you, Mayor Lamson. Comments, really. First, I do, on a positive side, I do think you did an exhaustive review of documents and regulations, so appreciate that. Secondly, it's very clear that you have expertise in signage strategy and design, so that's welcome. But spoiler alert, the rest is sort of critiques as well. The first thing is, had I been designing this study, I would have done a thorough current state assessment. What signs do we have? Where are they? What condition are they in? What gaps do we have? What can we build on? Because I see that we've basically thrown out everything we have and completely replaced them. I'm not sure that's necessary nor affordable. The second comment, 100% agree with Councillor Franzen, our logo. We have been hammering this point for 3 years now. We have a logo. We don't want to change it. We want to build on it. It's the one recognizable feature in our trucks, in our stationery and communications, and that needs to be front and center. So very disappointing that that wasn't done. The third thing is, you said that you were attuned to the trends in digital integration. I see nothing in here about how the physical signage would integrate with digital wayfinding, maps or directions, etc. So I'm pretty disappointed in it. And I really think the idea that we throw out everything we have, replace it with this brand new strategy and design is a little bit offensive. If we had unlimited funds and we're starting from scratch, terrific, but that's not the case. So as I say, I'm kind of disappointed. I thought it would build on what we have, go from there, and certainly incorporate our logo. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. And Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I echo Deputy Mayor Armstrong and Councillor Franzen's comments. And some of my comments were the same, basically. I just a question, Sean, is your company going to be involved moving forward? And if so, in what capacity?
Through you, the mayor, we can be involved going forward. I'll have one general comment just on the replacement of all 100% throw out everything. That's never the intent, actually. What you do is you do a phased implementation based on need. So as signs are in disrepair, and some signs do need to be repaired, replaced, or whatnot, that's how you unroll a new program. Almost every municipality we work with does it that way. So working forward, I mean, we would certainly be around and available to assist in the identification of that if that's the case. I would have to go back to the office to understand why the full logo wasn't adhered to. We're only as good as the information we are getting. I would say that and offer that. I think we understand and appreciate branding. We did review that. If it came, we don't know if that staff I don't know personally offhand if that staff recommendation or that came from the community itself. I would like to find out and get that information back to you if I may. But Councilor Braybook, to your question on whether we're carrying on with this, if there's work that still needs to be done, absolutely.
Thank you. Just one more. if I
Yes,
can,
go right ahead.
Mayor. Yeah, I was disappointed. I was looking, when I saw the report initially, I was hoping for sort of a more in-depth as opposed to a high level. A lot of the information in here, to echo Deputy Mayor Armstrong's comments, is information we already know at a high level. When I scrolled down to the end of the page 93 and 96 with the costing, one of the big signs is over $6,000, and I know that's an approximate industry standards. But my thoughts immediately went to, okay, well, how many signs do we have and how many do we need? I know I'm repeating it, but that's where I look at 6,000, how many signs and all the other signs that are, the directional and wayward signs and whatnot. So that's what I'm interested in order for me to, assess it properly. And going through the 152 comments of our survey participation, a lot of the comments were, how are we paying for this? How much is it? And that sort of thing. So that is on people's minds. It's on our minds. Is this, what are the state of our signs? And is this a luxury spend, so to speak? And what value add is it going to add to our municipality? I know it's nice to have nice signs and whatnot, but I mean, we are dealing with an economy and people are pretty tight for money and our taxes are high enough. So I was just looking for more of a detailed report. Thanks.
Okay, and I think Councillor Cadigan has comments as well.
Yes, through you, Mayor Lamstead. Building on what Councillor Franzen said, one of the goals that we were hoping with our signing strategy was to create inclusiveness within 3 townships that are amalgamation of our current municipality of Trent Lakes. And I'm not seeing that. All I'm seeing is representation from Buckhorn, unfortunately, and there's so much more to our township that I was really kind of hoping by having these signs in front of our various community centers that we can tie them all together so we all feel part of Trent Lakes. So I just feel a little disappointed in that.
Okay. I don't know if Sean or Alex, you have any comments about that?
All right, well, through you to that.
Sorry, Sean.
Okay, jump in, Alex.
Okay, yeah, so when we provided that overview of the signage mock-ups that kind of had every sign type we suggested, we also provided editable templates so that Buckhorn sign could be replaced with like Burley Falls and so on, and each community would have its own distinctive icon that would go with that sign. So in that way, we would represent each community through their distinctive icon. I noticed on some of the existing signage you have, for example, in Kinmount, they had the milk represented. So we did accommodate that in our signage templates. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Alex, any other further comments or questions? I just have a couple of similar to most people here. I think we struggle to unite our communities. We've had a very divisive community areas for many, many decades before we amalgamated, and it's difficult to unite everybody. So a consistent logo in every area would be very important to me. I think that's a way to try to unite everyone. We're all Trent Lakes. We're not Buckhorn, we're not Burley Falls, Cajun, Kinmount. We are Trent Lakes, and we would like to make sure that we stay Trent Lakes. I think that's important going forward. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I'm seeing none. I want to thank you very much, Alex and Sean, for your presentation. I don't know if we have anyone prepared to make a motion. Councillor Franz, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to receive the presentation.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. Any further conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much for your presentation and all. Oh, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
I'd like to propose another motion if I may.
Sure,
See
please
what
go.
council feels about it. It would be to the effect that we direct staff to go away and taking the input that they have just heard from council, along with the report, come back to council with a recommendation on how to move forward. And I'm not looking for a 40-page report. I'm looking for a 2 or 3 page report that just says, here's what we can use, here's what we can't, here's what we understand what you're saying, and here's how we would propose we move forward on this. We're way behind on this. This has been in the works for 3 years now. We approved a budget for it, 2023, to get signs out there. We had a few glitches. We tried to redo the logo. That was never the intent. So we are at least 3 years behind on this project. So I would like to see staff put together a recommendation around that. We also have the Galway sign, which was approved for this year in the budget. That hasn't been done because we've been waiting for this and the logo. So I think it's time to stop, pardon my language, messing around. We've got the logo. Figure out where we need signs, what we can use, and what we do to move forward.
Okay,
I'll second that motion with a bit of a comment.
okay. Go
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for mentioning about Galway. The committee, as you see in the minutes that we have later in our meeting on Galway Hall, members of that committee are very frustrated. They've been waiting 2 or 3 years to get signed. We approved funding for it, and it somehow stalled because we're waiting for this report. So I appreciate the patience of that committee, but I think we have to get on with it and get something installed in that area.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any further conversation about the motion? I'm seeing none. I will call for a vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, for the motion. Okay, thank you for the presentation and all the work and reviewing all of our strategies and policies and things, and we will be in touch, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we can move on to item. Thank you. We can move on now to item 9 of our agenda, which is delegations. We have none. Unless our sole member of the gallery would like to speak. No. We can move on to item 10 of our agenda, which is staff reports. Item 10.1 is public works. We have none. 10.2 is recreational facilities. We have none. 10.3 is fire and emergency services. We have none. 10.4 is building and planning. We have none. 10.5 is finance. 10.5.1 is Chastity Robertson, our deputy treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mayor Lambshead, the annual employee benefits plan renewal was negotiated on behalf of the municipality by Mosey & Mosey under the Peterborough Countywide program. As a result of Mosey & Mosey's negotiations with Manulife, the finalized renewal will result in an annual premium decrease of 8.2%. I am recommending that council receive the report and approve the Manulife employee group benefit renewal effective November 1st, 2025.
Thank you very much, Chastity. Does any members of council have any comments or questions for Chastity? Councillor Braver, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor. Chastity, I was thrilled to see that there was an 8.2% decrease. That's a rarity in any sort of commentary in today's world. So if it was you that identified that or negotiated that, thank you. And whoever else negotiated that, I mean, it's over $36,000. So that's fantastic.
Yes. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I just have one similar comment. I thank you very much, Chastity, for taking this on and bringing us a nice 8.2% reduction in costs. So we appreciate that. Okay, Councillor Cadogan, go ahead.
Motion to receive the report and approve the Manulife group benefit renewal effective November 1st.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Franklin with a hand. Okay, Councillor Franklin for seconder. Any further conversation in regards to this item? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much, Chastity. Now we can move on to item 10.6 of our agenda, which is administration. And 10.6.1 is Donna Taggart, our CAO treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you, and through you. So before you is the Q3 reporting for 2025. You will see operations continue to be very busy, and just some highlights. Financial reporting does show that budget spending is sitting at 53%, which is down slightly from 2024 when the new build of the 49 build was underway. There was a successful procurement and award for the construction of the new Buckhorn Fire Hall and Public Works Depot, and a new conflict of interest and confidentiality statement for procurement implemented. There are now a total of 1,506 subscribers to the e-newsletter, with 182 added in Q3. There were 82,141 website views, which is up almost 30,000 from Q3 of 2024. There was a very slight decrease in the number of building permits and a continued decrease in permit fees collected due to the types of permits being taken out. Staff received 38 new short-term rental accommodation registrations for a total of 91 applications now being received under this program, with 65 registered now. Council approved the zoning bylaw amendment and adopted the official plan amendment for additional residential units in Q3, with the OPA now at the county for approval. Overall, there were 30 septic permits issued in Q3, with fees collected of almost $25,000. Fire and emergency services call volumes remain high, with 161 incidents during Q3. Both public education and training hours were up, with 100% of staff, department staff, now registered for the Ontario Fire Marshal portal for learning. Over 34,000 vehicles accessed transfer station sites, and the municipality was compensated $25,000 for collection of scrap metal. 53 residents took part in the paper shredding event held at the Bob Cajun transfer station, and 136 mattresses were collected at the Crystal Lake and Bob Cajun transfer stations as part of the mattress event. There were 560 work orders completed by recreation and facility staff, taking 1,014 hours. Tenders for the Lakers Hall generator and lower bowl were issued, and work on the Buckhorn Buck and gazebo was completed. And under green initiatives, there was a campaign to increase awareness regarding organics in preparation for the new organic waste receptacles at the Bob Cajun transfer station, and this is now available for use. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Donna Taggart. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Donna about this report? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. Oh, please do.
He always looks my way as though
I look at everyone. I do look at everyone.
Thank you, Mayor Lamson. Thanks a lot, Donna. I still very much appreciate these reports and think they're very sort of informative. I have a couple of comments and one question. Great to see the social media continuing to grow. I think we're doing a really good job on communications. Nice to see that. Nice to see the fire education work that was done on our website. I think that's a terrific resource for our residents. Bylaws, bylaw complaints. I don't know if you can turn to it. Bianca, it's on page 164 of my package. So I'm not sure what, anyway. When you add it up, and unfortunately the totals are not on the page, but when you add it up, we've had 131 complaints year to date of bylaws, and 76 last year. That's huge. That's a huge increase. Doesn't stand out because I would like to see the totals, but so I just want to note that clearly we're keeping our bylaw officers busy. The other comment was on short-term rentals. We had 91 applications. I think that's very decent for the first year, given it was passive enforcement. But I do want to hear what plans we have for next year at some point in terms of trying to get all of our short-term rentals registered. And the third one is a question. Our fire incidents went up a lot, and the big causal was public hazards. I don't know what public hazards are, but there were 59 of them. And I don't know if Steve's on the line. He's not on the line.
I
Of
don't
course
think he
he's
is
not.
on the line.
So maybe I could just toss that out and say it really stood out to me. 19 was the highest number we've ever had in any quarter, and it really drove the total number up. So I'm just curious what that is.
So through you, we will find out.
Yeah, thank you. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it certainly stands out.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
If it was in March, I would say it's hanging limbs, but I don't think that's what it is now.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Maybe the fallout. Oops. Well
Okay.
said.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and questions. Deputy Armstrong, did Councilor Brandon, did you have your hand up?
No. Okay.
I was also going to speculate that it was related to the ice storm.
Okay. Perfect.
Might be.
Okay. Any more comments or questions? Seeing none. I think this is an enormous amount of information and I absolutely enjoy going through it. It's just shows you how much our staff are doing. So if anybody ever says they can complain about it, look at that, look at them charts and look at the numbers. We are a busy municipality and thank you every one of our staff members for being out there and helping. And I appreciate that. So thank you very much.
I just have
Yeah, go
one
ahead.
more question. With the complaints, I'm wondering, is it because we've made it easier to register complaints online over the previous years? Because I remember we received something that how you could make a complaint online. They were in on the property. So I'm just wondering if people are using that service.
And I think Eric Gay, our CBO and Director of Planning, and the titles are enormous, so I'm going to quit giving. So please go ahead, Eric.
Okay, sure. Through you, Mayor. Yes, the onset of the implementation of the cloud permit portal for bylaw has improved things significantly. So you can now sit in the comfort of your living room and lodge a bylaw complaint without ever having to come into the office. Previously, you'd have to fill out forms. We still accept them, handwritten forms, but it's so much easier now for people to do it. You can do it on the mobile app if you choose to. So that has helped. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but that has part of the reasoning for the increase in people seeing, okay, I don't have to make a big effort to put the complaint in. I can do it right now, and then it raises the numbers.
I think that's important aspect of all of that because the complaint goes away in 10 minutes. You forget about it, but it was still a complaint. Thank you very much for that response. Deputy Armstrong.
Yeah, thanks very much. And I thought since it's a public meeting, I should just expand. Most of the increases in noise and short-term rental complaints.
Yep.
Not surprisingly.
Try to be more quiet. Okay, is anyone prepared to make a motion? Any more questions before I move on?
I'll make the motion to
Councilor
receive the report.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Motion to receive. Councilor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversations, questions for Donna? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. I just want to make sure that all our staff realize that that is a lot of information to get to us, and I do appreciate how much that takes some time. Thank you. Sometimes it seems like we skip through that a little bit, and that's not our intent. We certainly do appreciate it. Okay, we can now move on to item 10.7 of our agenda, which is corporate services, and 10.7.1 is Bianca Dragicevic, our deputy clerk. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you, Mayor Linsman. Before you are the council expenses received for the month of September and the remainder of August for council's authorization. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any comments or questions regarding? I can't even find that item on my agenda. We'll get to it. Bianca's report. Seeing none, is anyone prepared to make a motion? Nobody wants to get paid their mileage, I guess. Councilor Braber, go ahead.
Make a motion to receive and approve.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councilor Cadigan for a seconder. Now, any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you, Bianca. We can move on now to item 10.7.2. Jesse Clark, our Director of Corporate Services and Clerk, would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you through you, Mayor Lambshead. Last year, council received a report outlining all of the known municipal properties and directed staff to investigate the sale of properties with the sale potential of 4, 5, and 6. Staff submitted a budget request paper for funds for the cost of title searches, appraisals, and surveys, and council directed staff to prioritize 4 properties for potential sale. Staff recommend that the 3 properties with a sale potential of 5 be prioritized. These properties would have a higher sale potential with limited constraints identified after the preliminary review. Council has also declared the Deer Bay Hall property to be surplus to municipal needs and directed staff to proceed with disposing of the property. Staff are recommending that the 4 properties to be prioritized for sale are the 3 properties with the sale potential of 5, along with the previously declared surplus Deer Bay Hall property. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jesse Clark. Any comments or questions regarding that report? Councillor Brandon, go ahead.
Just one comment. When we complete the motion on this, should we identify the properties a little bit better than just with the roll number, so the public knows where these properties are going to be that are going to be sold?
Okay, I do believe there's diagrams of each one in their package.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be included in our minutes. I think there should be a description of a short description of the property, the location of the property.
Okay.
And possibly the acreage, but the location is the most important.
Okay.
Not just the roll number.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Any other comments? If you would like to make that, something like that in a motion, we would entertain a motion.
I'll make that in a motion.
So the recommendations plus?
Plus a short description of the property, location of the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Through you, Mayor Lance, for clarification, are you wanting legal description? All these are vacant properties and wouldn't have a municipal address.
Just a location on what road that they're located.
Like vacant lot on. Okay.
Okay. Clear enough? Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? I don't even know if I got a seconder. My apologies. Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Now we can have further conversation. Anyone have any further conversation? I think this is a good start, and I think this is not a bad idea to be, as a beginning. Thank you very much for that report, and I will call for a vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, we can now move on to item 10.7.3. Jesse Clark, our Director of Corporate Services Clerk. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Lamshead. At the January council meeting, council approved the stop-up closure and sale of a portion of an unopened road allowance between lots 5 and 6, concession 1. As well, there appears to be 1-foot reserves on either side of the unopened road allowance. This land will serve as a lot addition to the property known as 28 Fire Route 195. Staff and the applicants have completed the required process, and staff are recommending council approve the purchase price for the sale of the unopened road allowance at the appraised value being $2,450. And there's a bylaw on today's agenda to stop up, close, and transfer the unopened road allowance for council's consideration.
Okay, thank you very much, Clerk Clark. Anyone have any comments or questions regarding this item? See none. Is anyone prepared to make a motion? Councillor Cadigan, go ahead.
Motion that council receive the report and authorize transfer the portion of the unopened road allowance for the purchase price of $2,450.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cadigan. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Brabert for a seconder. Any conversation, any comments, questions? How's your time? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much, Jesse. We can move on now to item 11 of our agenda, which is notices of motion. Does anyone have a notice of motion? Seeing none. Item 12 is correspondence for information. Item 12.1 is the Galway Hall Board minutes from November 25th. And item 12.2 is Cavendish Community Policing minutes from April 1st, July 7th, August 5th, and September 2nd. Would anyone like to speak to any of those items, or is prepared to make a motion? Councillor Brown.
I'd like to speak to the Galway Hall.
Right ahead.
And just about the increased activity that we've seen in that hall in the last 5 or 6 months. I think it's amazing.
Mhm.
And I'd just like to point out with council the comments made about the signage.
Okay, thank you very much. Are you prepared to make a motion as well?
I'll make a motion to receive
Okay,
both the Galway Hall Board and the Cavendish Community Policing.
okay. Do I,
I guess there's 4 sets of minutes
yes,
with the Cavendish Community Policing.
okay. Is anyone willing to second that?
I'll second it. Just
Yep.
wanted to make a
Sure, sure.
comment.
Councilor Braybrick for a seconder.
Cavendish Community Policing Committee.
Yes,
They've had approximately 4 meetings. And they've sort of resurrected it. It existed in the past and they've resurrected it. And it's been well received by the OPP. And the OPP have, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they put in their computer system. So the officers can go by and either do up reports or access the OPP database. And I think that's a positive, because that's going to have more, you're going to see more OPP officers, more OPP presence up in the area. So it's good.
okay, thank you very much, Councilor Braybrick. That's something to consider when we eventually get down to our facilities master plan and the replacement of all those buildings there, that maybe there needs to be a little space for our OPP officers to be in, have that in our master plan. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you, Councilor Cotting. I think you visit with them too, not your liaison. Thank you. Okay. We have a mover, we have a seconder. Any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, now we can move on to item 13 of our agenda, which is correspondence for action. Would anyone like to speak about any of those 3 items, or we can receive them all at the same time? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Lambert. I'd like to pull out 13.2.
Okay.
And I'm prepared to make a motion to receive 13.1 and 13.3.
Okay, so we have 13.1 and 13.3 as a motion. Do I have a seconder? Councilor Braybrick for a seconder. Any conversation about those 2 items? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can go to Deputy Mayor Armstrong and we can talk about item 13.2. And I believe Councilor Franzen, you have declared a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, would you like to go ahead, please?
Thank you, Mayor Lambert. Yeah, Ted Oakes, whom I think we all know is a lawyer, retired. And he's raised some concerns over the contract we have with Aqua. So my first question is, when does that expire again? Or when is it up for renewal again?
So through you, December 31st of 2025.
Oh, this year.
And yeah, and I can confirm that I have had conversations with Aqua about that. And they have provided an early estimate that is quite high. So they have gone back to try to look at that again, but we are in the process of that.
And may I ask that council be involved in looking through that, the terms of it, prior to any agreement around that, simply because of the issues that have been raised. I think we'd like to have eyes on that if we can.
So thank you, and through you, it will certainly come to council and certainly go through the municipality solicitor. We wouldn't entertain the use of the City of Kawartha Lake solicitor because of course we have an agreement with Aird and Bearless, so we would go through them, but it will go through the solicitor and come to council for approval.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. In there, was there a motion?
I guess a motion just to receive.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councilor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? I'm seeing none. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay. We can retrieve Councilor Franzen. Thank you very much, Franzen. Welcome back, Councillor Franzen.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Okay, we can move on now to item 14 of our agenda, which is bylaws. And item 14.1 is bylaw number B 2025-084, which we discussed earlier on our agenda. Anybody have any comment? Is anyone prepared to make a motion first? Councillor Cadigan, go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Franzen for a seconder. Any further conversation or comments regarding the motion and the item? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, now we can move on to item 15 of our agenda, which is announcement. Does anyone have any announcements to make? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor Lamson. Councillor Franzen and I attended the AGM of the Galway Harvey Historical Society last week. And a couple of things. First of all, they have now officially had their name changed. It's Trent Lakes Historical Society, and their website reflects that, and all of their literature reflects it. So that was a long journey, but that's done, and we're grateful for that. Also, Barb Kane, as president, has retired. She'll be past president. And I can't remember who the new president is, Peter, do you? Sorry, Councilor Franzen. Is it Janice or Margot?
Janice.
Janice Strang.
Yeah,
the new
yeah,
president.
Excellent. Well, she sure has a great mentor that'll be still around there for a long time helping, so I think
Absolutely.
that is awesome.
I
That's
believe it was her
great group.
grandmother that was the former clerk of Galway Cavendish.
Wow. There's lots of history in that area, hundreds of
Long
years.
history in the town.
Fantastic. It's an exciting adventure having their name changed. I think that's something that they were really intrigued in wanting to do. And I do believe, I think there's some thanks to Deputy Mayor Armstrong involved with that as well. So I thank them very much for calling it Trent Lakes, because that's what we are. We should try to do that more and more often all the time, is try to name things by Trent Lakes, because that's what we are. We're not 3 municipalities, we're one, and we have 3 different areas, but we are all Trent Lakes. Thank you for that. Okay. I have a mover and a seconder. I will call for a vote. I don't even think I have a mover and a seconder, do I? No, I don't need one. Just an announcement. That is a nice announcement. Thank you very much. Okay, we can move on to item 16 of our agenda, which is our closed meeting. I would entertain a motion to go into closed. Councillor Cadigan for, yes?
Sorry, through you, Mayor Lamson, may I request that we recess until 2:45 and go into the closed meeting at 2:45 when our presenters will be here?
Absolutely. We are going to recess till 2:45.
And then you can
Do I
also
need a
just,
motion for
well,
that?
then we'll go right in. So it'll be that we recess till 2:45 and go into a closed meeting at 2:45 under section.
Okay. Maybe we can make that a motion. I think we need that as a motion. So we are going to recess till 2:45 and then go into closed. So I would, Deputy Mayor Armstrong, remover, Councillor Cadigan for a seconder, and before I call for the vote, we are going into closed under the authority of the Ontario Municipal Act, section 239(2) or 239, to discuss 2A, which is security of the property of the municipality or local board, cybersecurity, 3.1 education or training members for cybersecurity. That is the reason we are going into closed. And I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. We are now in recess till 2:45. Okay, we are going to move on to item 16.2 of our agenda, which is rising from our closed meeting. And I would entertain a motion to do the same. Councillor Brabert for a mover, Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. We are back in our regular council meeting. We can move on now to item 17 of our agenda, which is business arising from our closed meeting. Item 17.1 is the adoption of the minutes from our October 7th, 2025 closed meeting. I'm prepared to make a motion. Deputy Mayor
A
Armstrong.
motion with a comment after. it's
Sure, okay. Do I have a seconder for the motion? We have to be careful. It is a closed meeting agenda that we're discussing.
No, I understand.
Okay. All right,
I'll
so
keep it generic.
Okay,
comment.
Councillor Cadigan for a
Generic comment
seconder.
is, do we need to have an address, an actual specific address in our closed meeting minutes? Or can we simply refer to a property that was discussed? And I certainly would clerk for that. I know it's closed minute meetings, but
I think we're talking about our October 7th closed meeting.
am I looking at the wrong minutes?
Sorry.
Right.
There was a
Same as
discussion
if we
about it.
talked about an identifiable individual enclosed, I would identify that individual enclosed. So I feel like it's important to identify the property that was discussed in the closed meeting.
I could buy that. At least we're being consistent.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have a motion to adopt the minutes and a seconder. Any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, we can move on to item 18 of our agenda, which is the adoption of the confirming bylaw. Item 18.1 is the confirming bylaw. Would anyone like to make a motion? Councillor Cadigan for a mover, Councillor Franzen for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We can move on to item 19 of our agenda, which is adjournment. Would anyone care to make a motion to adjourn? Councillor Cadigan for a mover. Councillor Braybrook for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, council. Thank you, staff. Thank you, anyone in the virtual and physical gallery.